This is Hannah from Lyme Advise, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Robbie Besner of Therasage. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me, Robbie. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so honored to be on the call with you today.
Thank you. So, through household devices, Therasage is able to bring full infrared technology to the home. To begin, can you please explain what full spectrum infrared technology is?
Uh, well, infrared is a part of the sun rays, part of the spectrum of light that comes from the sun and hits the earth every day. It's broken down into basically three wavelengths: near, middle, and far. And what we've done and how we got started was basically my daughter contracted Lyme disease about 20 plus years ago. And I have a pre-medical and engineering background. And so I combined both of those skill sets. We discovered that when you harness the power of healing of the full spectrum of all the three wavelengths of sunlight, the body responds by very, very actively and starts what I call a healing platform to help the body bounce back. And so one of the things it does is it mobilizes all the toxins inside of your body. And so that's a key, particularly in our current environment, because the world is a very toxic world, and that's how we do it. So there are three wavelengths within the full spectrum: the near, the middle, and the far. And each of those wavelengths do different things to help the body get tuned up. For instance, the near frequencies are basically at your skin level to around 3 centimeters deep. And they'll help with all skin-related challenges. They help with mitochondrial stress. They help produce the natural production of nitric oxide, which is a gas that creates what's called vasodilation, expands your little vessels. And it also promotes better blood oxygenation. The mid frequencies go a little deeper and are a combination of both the near influences and the far frequencies can penetrate as much as 3 inches into the body. And there you're getting heavy metal detox, you're getting pain relief, major circulation and vasodilation, so we can improve your metabolic rate by close to 15% by utilizing the far frequencies. So the combination of having the near, middle, and far or full spectrum is really what we've discovered in the clinics and in hospital and practical use in our homes to be the most beneficial.
One of the products offered by Therasage are portable saunas. Can you please briefly explain how the saunas work and the purpose of them?
Well, we make a traditional wood type sauna, but the ones that are really the most effective are these little portable types that we make. We make them very affordable. They are portable, meaning that they fold up, and that if you don't have a lot of space in your home, you can unfold it. You can set it up within a minute, and then you can fold it back up. It'll go in a closet or under the bed. So it's really space saving, yet it offers an incredible amount of great healing properties. And so you sit in this portable device, your head is out. We've done that purposely because the temperature of your brain cell is a lot more sensitive to heat than your body is. And so by having a device that I can have most of your body, everything basically from the neck down in the sauna, but have your head outside, so your head is at room temperature, where your body, I can really elevate the core temperature of your body to create what's called hypothermia, or in shorter words, a false fever. And a fever is one of the frontline defenses against fighting off infection, bacteria, parasites, mold. Things like Lyme disease it's super key. And so that's why that sauna is really tremendously effective with the Lyme community and helping Lyme patients.
For many people facing issues, one being Lyme disease, as you mentioned, detoxification is important. How do the saunas assist in detoxification?
Well, detoxification, basically is super important for all of us because we're living in a toxic world. It's particularly important with the Lyme patient because in the life of a Lyme of a Lyme spirochete, and or the co-infections that travel with the Lyme family. These microorganisms, essentially, they're perfect in their own way. They use your body resources, they multiply, and they poop. That poop is a toxin. If you're doing any kind of Lyme protocol, Hannah, then that is effective. There's going to be a die-off of these parasites and microorganisms. And that die-off becomes a toxin also. When you combine the toxicity or raising of toxicity, and honestly, most of the Lyme community, the reason why they're feeling yucky and they have symptoms at all is because they're toxic. All the things I just described mount up over the years, and then eventually they express themselves in the body, each of our bodies individually, a little differently, but mostly like pain relief and cognitive challenges, and it's a full array of things that Lyme patients talk about. That really, when you distill it right all the way down to a micro level, is just that they're toxic, and also inflammation and toxicity, they both travel kind of on the same highway. And so what we discovered when you get in the sauna, and we do it very gently with Lyme patients, and through the Lyme Advise and Lyme community, you have direct access to me. And we have special protocols that we've been working with for many years with Lyme literate practitioners to gently introduce the Lyme patient into the sauna and gently guide them to a very safe and healthy way to detox. And what we've noticed is inflammation and toxicity, they both travel together almost on the same highway, so to speak. And so if I can lower your toxic level, I can also lower your inflammation. And now we're really talking about a real change in people's general health. Of course, in this discussion, Hannah, we're not really talking about addressing the underlying source, the Lyme or the Bartonella or Babesia or any of the co-infections. Mm-hmm. We're just talking about managing the toxic level. And what we found is that you buy a lot of time on a Lyme patient that's been chronically sick or yucky for a long time. When you lower their toxic levels and their inflammation, now they're starting to get their life back. They're starting to get better night's sleep. They're more energetic. They've got more mental clarity. And they just start generally feeling better. And that now we've got some time to really kind of look at the underlying source and attack that. But it all, to me, safe and way to really approach this is by doing a good detox protocol to start with. And that sauna is a major key, in my opinion, and what we've seen real results with as it goes. Now, the sauna alone, what we do is we combine the sauna with using different kinds of binders, and a binder is like a sponge. So the sauna mobilizes the toxin, and the sponge kind of soaks it up, and then together they work in getting that toxin out. And sweating is one of the best ways to do it. So we've created a really great device that can do that in a very efficient manner.
As seen on the Therasage website, there are multiple devices for different purposes, one being a small heating pad. Does the heating pad work in the same way as a sauna does, but just focuses on one part of the body, as opposed to the sauna works on the whole body?
Great question. And I guess the best analogy there is the sauna is like a floodlight. It covers a full body experience, right? Mm-hmm. And the heating pad, which uses full spectrum, same concepts in terms of the way we harness the frequencies and get them to the body. The difference is the delivery system. So the healing pad would be more like a spotlight, like a laser, where you can bring this technology, the power of healing of natural sunlight, to a specific area of the body that may need that additional attention. We actually call it love, because we like to think that if you're gonna have Lyme disease and you're in that sauna, we want that sauna to represent you doing the best thing, giving yourself self-love, cultivating that essence of what causes a youthful and a well-body experience. And so whether you're using sauna to give yourself love in a full-body way, or a healing pad where you're bringing love and attention to a specific part of the body that needs it, either way, you're giving yourself love That way, you're getting the energetic component as well as the therapy.
How does your Therasage heating pad differ from a normal heating pad?
Well, probably the number one thing and one of the principles or pillars of our technology is that we don't generate any electromagnetic fields. And that's super important because those are exogenous frequencies that oscillate at a much higher level in the body's natural frequency. And so when you're using a traditional heating pad that you buy at Walgreens or CVS for $40, it has a copper wire that goes through it that generates the heat. So you're getting heat. That part is somewhat the same because we generate heat as well. But the difference is that they're also generating extreme high levels of EMF. And so where our healing pads generate no electromagnetic fields. Along with that, our healing pads are peppered with natural jadestone, and we're using harmonizing EMF technologies so that we're building the actual body field and the energies of the body to again recruit all the natural healing principles that our bodies have, that we're born with.
Therasage also offers an ozone machine that can be placed inside the sauna. What does the ozone machine do and how is it beneficial?
Well, we actually have two now, but the one that we use for the sauna is a little handheld portable device. It's about the size of a cell phone, but a little bit thicker. And it's got two main functions. The ozone function, there's a little button on there that says O3. Oxygen therapy is a great therapy. We see it in hyperbaric, we see it in ozone therapy itself. There are many ways to get more oxygen into the blood. And when we do that, it does a few things. One, it slows down the aging process and lowers what's called oxidative stress. The other thing that it does is many of the anaerobes or many of the microbes that we're talking about, Lyme and the bacteria, the families of bacteria that follow, they're anaerobic in nature, which means that they don't like oxygen. So the two natural events that sauna or the healing pads do that actually work in the favor of the person and not in the favor of the Lyme. Raising core temperature because Lyme hates heat and it also hates oxygen. And when you move more blood around the body by increasing the width of your vessels, it's called vasodilation, and that's what the heat does. Now we're increasing metabolic function. So if you're taking good meds or you're just eating good nutrition, you're moving more blood around. That brings more oxygen to your organs and to your tissues. And raising core temperature at the same time. Those are two great natural ways to knock that Lyme, down. And different than using antibiotics and different kinds of pharmaceutical interventions. And I believe that those are useful and when they're used properly. The Lyme is a very smart bug. It senses a chemical change in your body. When you introduce a natural change like sunlight or heat from infrared sauna and something like oxygen, that kind of throws the bug for a loop, meaning that they can't anticipate that change. They're less likely to curl up into a cyst state, burrow into your soft tissue, and then the body goes into, or the person goes into somewhat of a remission until some later event when they come back out again. What we're looking to do is kind of get them, do a sneak attack and hit them with natural events that they won't sense, and so we catch them off guard, and that gives the body a chance to heal naturally, and then really start to get us to a point where your immune system starts ramping up and take charge and take over. Now, ozone is a great therapy. So what happens in the sauna, Hannah, is that once you start to sweat a little bit, your skin becomes hydrated, and then when you're hydrated, your skin then goes from in one way it's getting toxins out, but now it becomes a breathing organ. The skin is the largest organ of the body. When you put that little ozone device on the floor, it generates 750 milligrams per cubic inch per hour of ozone. and it's a low gamma ozone, which means it's the closest to a breathable format of ozone. So now we're in the sauna, our heads are out, so we're getting fresh air. We're heating our body up. We're starting to sweat, and that now that the cabin is filled with that extra oxygen from the ozone, it permeates through the skin and goes basically right into your bloodstream. And so next to breathing or using IV therapy to get ozone in, using your skin to get the ozone or the extra oxygen into your bloodstream is amazingly efficient. And so between the heat and the extra oxygen, you're really creating two great ways to knock that Lyme down.
Great. So your Thera 360 Plus supports cellular detoxification and can lead to skin and anti-aging benefits as well as other benefits, according to your website. What are some of those other health benefits?
Well, we lower pain. It's a side effect, but a positive side effect, because most people think that that's a negative connotation. But you can healthily, because we're increasing your metabolic rate, you can probably lose somewhere between 2 to 2.5 pounds on an average person a month. So you'll actually burn in the sauna in a half-hour session maybe between 400 and 500 calories. So there's a weight thinning effect. There's a better energy. You get better night's sleep. There's pain relief. Of course, there's the raising of core temperature, so you can fight off viruses and bacteria and Lyme disease and mold and many of the toxic challenges that all of us are experiencing in our environment these days. There's some more subtle, more scientific things I could talk about, like heat shock proteins are emitted, and that's the natural immune system that we have it initiates an immune response. So that's super important, particularly if people, not just that have Lyme, but if you've got other things going on, generally all those factors suppress your immune system. And that's why oftentimes, even though you got Lyme challenges or things like that going on, because your immune system's suppressed, you're very susceptible to catching colds easier than other people and stuff like that. So we build your immune system up. That's a super important feature. So, better night's sleep, better absorption of nutrition, because remember, your blood carries all your nutrition, all your healing properties, and oxygen. And so by vasodilating and increasing metabolic rate, if you're taking meds, if you're taking good nutrition, it's going to move more of that around your body at somewhere between 15 and 20% greater rate. That gives your tissues a more exposure to all that great nutrition, and the ability for your tissues to absorb that has increased. So all of these are great major benefits.
Taking all those benefits into consideration, do you recommend any of these products for someone who is not struggling currently with a health issue, but perhaps would like to be more proactive with their health?
Great question too. Boy, you're asking such great questions, Hannah.
Thank you.
For more than 20 years, we've been really focusing on chronically challenged people. Of course, our hearts are in Lyme disease because that was our own family dynamic and where really the birth of our company came from. But these days, as we're looking at overall like the different demographics, even though I really move the needle with our technology with people that have chronic challenges, I'm starting to favor this whole biohacking optimal health community. The people that they're a little younger, but it could still be part of the baby boomer type psychology, that people that want to just be healthier and live longer. But mostly we're getting a whole surge of interested people that just want to get the best technology to maintain their health, not to wait until they start to have symptoms of some kind. And so I'm really enjoying coaching people that are in that optimal health category, because it's way more fun to keep people healthy and keep them on top of their game than to sort of play catch up, with people that have chronic challenges. So I love, just helping people in good health. I like moving the needle, but I'm really enjoying talking to these energetic, youth-minded individuals that are really want to stay on top of their game. This whole optimal health category is just amazing to me.
Great. So, as you touched on at the beginning of the interview, you took into consideration when creating the portable sauna affordability and the size of the sauna to make sure it can fit into different locations. What else did you take into consideration when designing and creating the products?
Well, affordability was important.
Hmm.
Initially, just in our own cathartic process with our company, 18 years ago, all we were making were kind of the wooden type saunas, that traditional wooden type. When we started making them, as active as I am in developing and inventing devices and applications, I'm a very active listener. And so when we started making the wooden saunas, what we heard back from our customers were, I'm really sick. I really need a sauna, but I can't afford something that's $3,000 or $4,000, as the good wooden ones will cost. Then another part of the people would say to us, I really need the sauna, but I can afford it, but because I live in a really beautiful, 1-bedroom apartment on Park Avenue. But what I can't, I don't have any space. And so our two major considerations initially were just basically price and size, or the ease of being able to set up and take down the sauna were our two major considerations when we developed our portable format. Of course, we still make a wooden one, but the rage now, and honestly, the portable sauna is way more therapeutic than the regular wooden traditional types. And part of the other considerations, having your head out gives you, if you're claustrophobic, it gives you a more open feeling. Also, like I mentioned earlier, your brain cell is a lot more sensitive to heat than your body is. So if my goal is to raise your core temperature, where creating that false fever and that what's called hypothermia in the medical world, if my goal is to do that, to create a die-off, which would really go after all the bacteria and the parasites in the body, how do I do that when your brain cells are just as sensitive or more sensitive than your body is? How do I raise your body core and not raise your brain core temperature? And the way to do that is to develop a device where your head is out. So now you're sitting in the sauna, your head is out, your head's at room temperature, you have full landscape view of your home, of your outside, or you can keep your hands out and you can be reading or have a clicker, watch TV or listen to radio, whatever. The other consideration is many of our customers still have dental amalgams that have mercury in them in their mouth, and that mercury reacts to heat, or the amalgam reacts to heat. It expands and it contracts, and so when mercury in an amalgam expands and contracts, mercury off-gassing occurs. And so with your head out, you don't have any of that off-gassing of the mercury from your amalgams. So raising core temperature, the expense, portability, mercury off-gassing and toxicity, these are all the considerations that we put into making our device.
That is the end of part 1 of my interview with Robbie Besner of Therasage. Part 2 will deal more directly with how his ultra-red frequency technology can help treat Lyme disease. In part 3, we'll talk about water filtration and its impact on Lyme disease and chronic illness. Thank you.